guys, welcome back to Archangel Ministries. I know I was promised you something different. I'm sorry, but everything's going on with the Epstein files and the drops and everything else is going on has been stressful. Maybe that's the right way to put it. Definitely kicked up my PTSD. And it's caused problems for a lot of the survivors out there because they didn't edit the photos for the survivors' sake, nor did they omit their names. Yeah. But you know whose names were redacted? The perpetrators. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then they also chose not to release photos and the videos they're in possession of that show these perps and the crimes, and then they wanted to turn around and claim that they didn't have evidence to prosecute them. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I expected it to go that way. Anyways, I do have some good news, and we'll get back to that subject in a second. But the website's back up and running. Now I've got to do some more work on it, so the donations, links, and stuff won't be active until probably next week, maybe, if I have some luck. I've got to set up a new payment processor and go through all that spiel again. Yay, I'm so excited. So I got to go do all that crap again. Wonderful. So for the time being, any donations and stuff that come in will be done by our GiveSendGo account. And that is www.givesendgo.com/archangelministries91. And you'll be able to do donations there. Now, hopefully in the next week or two, I'll have donations set up where it can be one click and you can donate direct from the website and even do like a subscription type basis if you want to donate so much every month or whatever you want to do. But for the time being, we're just going to have to keep dealing with GiveSendGo for a little while. I'm not a tech specialist, guys, so I can do a lot of things, but working miracles in the tech space is not on that list. Okay, so having said that, we have a rescue coming up this week, and the person we are getting is being targeted by the Epstein Bro Squad because she herself was a survivor of Epstein. Yeah. I imagine we're probably going to see a lot of that flowing through here pretty soon. But at least we're here. So at least they got somebody they can call on that's reliable. We're already in the works of working out all the details and stuff for the extraction. We'll hopefully have it done hopefully by this upcoming weekend. Though we could use some additional support. Our funds are low, but we are working with everything we have. So it's going to get done. It's just, we'll see what God wants to do as far as finance for the ministry goes. Okay, back to that. You guys, no doubt, saw the file dumps. There's all kinds of stuff on the internet everywhere about it. No matter what you do, you can't escape it, especially if you're on X or Twitter or whatever it's called now. Ironically, most the media won't touch it. Biggest story in a century, and the media doesn't want to go near it. That should tell you a lot. And then to top it off, even some of the main influencers, they won't touch it either. And if they do, they're shilling for Trump. And they're shilling for Israel. Yeah. Priceless. But I already knew that would happen. So look, some fact of the matter is we have more than enough credible evidence that links Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell to the Israeli Mossad and the CIA. What other agencies? Not sure. There's suspicions of Russia, which, maybe. And Qatar. that one I can actually see as being a decent probability, if I'm being honest. I mean, Qatar, you know, Israel tells them to jump, they say how high, so yeah. Imagine there's a lot of that going on, especially between Trump and Qatar. We all know about him making room on one of our military bases here in the U.S. for Qatar. Pretty sure that's a constitutional violation, but yeah. Anyways, I feel sorry for Epstein's victims. So we've already got one that we're having to step in to run protection for and do an extraction for, get them to a Safeway house and deliverance and everything else for. I can't imagine how many more there's going to be just in the next few weeks. They are doing everything they can to bury this. That's why the mainstream media is not reporting on it. That's why at the latest White House press briefing, as soon as someone brought up Epstein and the DOJ, one, you had Trump flat out saying that he thinks the DOJ should drop it and tell everybody in America they got better stuff to do, which the assistant AG just did. Yeah, so that's great. And then immediately after that, they booted all the press out of the office. Yeah. What does that tell you? So look, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I am livid. I'm pissed. I am furious, if I'm being perfectly honest. I am walking a fine line right now between righteous anger and a desire for flat out vengeance. And that's just the honest truth. And I won't even get into what these people deserve, because then it'd be viewed as me making threats or something stupid, which I'm not doing, nor have I ever done, but, you know, it is what it is. I prefer to let my enemies come to me. But what I can say is this is not over. Not by a long shot. What the American people understand is that if they want justice, they're going to have to stop with the left versus right nonsense. Stop with the political drama. Stop with the racism nonsense. Put that aside. We're going to have to unite. It's going to have to be one thunderous voice that forces action. Now, I'm not talking about the typical nonsense we see. No rioting, no looting. Don't be stupid. Alright? And the reason why I say that is because these guys are looking for an excuse. You already see plans for a third world war well away. Two purposes. One, it's part of their initial plan and has been for over a century. Two, what better distraction can there be than fear, chaos, and panic gripping the lives of everyday citizens? And these people think. They don't care how many bodies are in the streets, how many people die. They don't care about you anymore. They don't care about the infants that they killed and ate. Any of the people they abused, raped, and ritualistically murdered. They don't care any more about you than they did them. That's just the facts. I'm sorry that it sounds so dark and bleak, but it's the truth. I was in that world. I know how these people think. I know how they operate. Now, as far as looting and rioting, why I'm telling you don't do anything stupid, it's because they want that excuse to. They're looking for an excuse to crack down on the American populace. As a matter of fact, start looking at attacks on your constitutionally guaranteed protected rights. Guarantee you they're going to start attacking the First and Second Amendment. As a matter of fact, they already started attacking the Second Amendment. It was announced today in D.C. that they're going to confiscate everybody's guns. Yeah, whether you have a permit for it or not, they're going to come take your bang bangs. Bye bye pew pew. Unless you're willing to stand your ground and do something about it. Sorry to say, that's what it is. They'll start in D.C. and then they'll try and do it elsewhere. They've reached all too critical phase in their plan that they're going to use Israel and anti-Semitism. Oh, wait, right. Anti-Semitism to restrict your First Amendment rights and your right to free speech. They've already started pushing it. You've already got Israeli tech billionaires saying that we have to restrict the First Amendment because of anti-Semitism. Yeah. Don't fall for the trap, guys. The people that are against Israel aren't being anti-Semitic. Ain't got nothing to do with your actual Orthodox Torah observant Jews. I know I ain't got no beef with those guys. Most of those guys are anti-Israel themselves. Does that make them anti-Semitic? Oh no! No, Jews are anti-Semitic. Oh! As you can tell, I've about had my fill. I'm very frustrated. But, yeah, so we got that going on. The churches have bought into the facade hook, line, and sinker because most of them are stupid and never actually opened their Bible to read it. Sorry, it is what it is. I call it how I see it. And I will be doing a full episode on that, going over the distinction between anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism. And I will be going into the history of Zionism, how long it's been around for, how the 3rd century church outright rejected that theology as a heresy. Yeah. I will be going on what these people believe, who it is they truly worship, and many other sordid details that hopefully will educate people and bring some clarity to this blurred line that they've created. Because it's a mess, guys. It is a full-blown mess. Even I've been sitting here for the last, couple of months now, trying to figure out how people are so stupid. Or, which is the case for most, ignorant. Ignorance plays a big deal in that because the church and a lot of its members and stuff over the last, let's see here, 115-ish years, give or take a couple years, have been brainwashed. Schofield Bible, etc., etc., all that nonsense. Lack of understanding of the scriptures is what creates bad theology. Zionism is really bad theology. Now, pump the hate brakes, Fox and friends, alright? I myself, I am not anti-Semitic. I have had many Jewish friends over the years, most of them upstanding, very respectable guys. However, with that being said, the majority of them were also Torah-observant Orthodox Jews that do not believe Israel should even exist as a nation per Scripture, which they're technically correct about that because the modern state of Israel was actually a creation from the Rothschilds and the United Nations, Theosophy. Of course, that's a deep rabbit hole I don't have the time for at this particular moment, but we will cover it, I promise. All right, so let me get off my trauma horse. Sorry, clear my head a little bit. Okay, so the Epstein thing is a big deal. All right, it really is. It's a much bigger deal than what most people give it credit for. Why is it a big deal? Because it shined light into a dark place that they didn't want that light shone in. You guys, I'm sure, remember the great satanic panic from the 80s. That was our first shot with survivors coming out and actually addressing this stuff. The government didn't do anything. They buried it. Even after all the works of Ted Gunderson and his investigation and him continuing to speak on it for the next couple of decades, it was buried. They're trying to do that now. By me putting up this video and having Epstein anywhere in the title, or me talking about Epstein in the first 5 minutes of the video and whatnot, this video is going to be buried. Odds are you probably won't even see it unless you're following me on X or Facebook or something like that, because I guarantee you it is not going to pop up in your notifications. It definitely isn't going to pop up in your feed on YouTube. That I can guarantee. That's the extent they're going to bury this stuff. JD Delay. JD Daly? Delahy? Yeah, Delahy. That's it. You guys haven't checked him out, love that dude. Super funny, super cool guy, awesome testimony. I really like him. But you should check out his stuff. And, is it American Thor? Can't remember his name. But him and Jesse on Fire, they've all three linked up, and they've been talking about this stuff, and on top of everything else they cover, and, they've been pretty spot on. So I got to give credit where credit is due. Of course, JD also does work on taking down pedophiles and things of that nature. I've reached out to him. Hopefully I'll hear from him. That'd be super cool. I'd like to talk to him and see if we can help each other out ministry-wise, but we'll see what God does with that. But yeah, they've been having problems with this. And those guys are way more popular than I am. Way more popular than I am. For good reason. I mean, they do it regularly and do their live streams and stuff, and me, I'm just kind of all over the place, so I get it. But unless you're someone that's covering the Epstein stuff from a positive Trump light, your content's going to be buried. Yeah. Say anything about Israel, your content's going to be buried. And me, I don't know how to keep my big mouth shut and play the algorithm game, so my content generally gets buried. But it's shining light on a problem that they don't want light and truth to be shined on. So they're doing everything they can to distract the public and bury the story. YouTube's doing it. Thank God Rumble's not doing it. At least we got one platform I can post this stuff on and not be silenced. So that's nice. X, surprisingly, is not doing it. I'm kind of shocked by that because you get moderated to oblivion if you mention Israel. But for some reason, the Epstein stuff, man, there are a lot of pissed off Americans out there. Woo! I wouldn't want to be in their shoes. No, I would not. They done kicked the hornet's nest. Having said that, I have some theories. A lot of people have been questioning why did they even drop the files? Why didn't they just bury it outright? Burying it outright would have been too bold of a mood and would have been blatant, a slap to the face immediately right off the bat. Now, hindsight being 2020, that probably would have been their better option. Unless my theory is accurate. They have been trying desperately for years now to divide the American populace and create instability to the extent that they hope that it will lead to a civil conflict. I completely expect them to keep going down that rabbit hole. They want a civil war here. They want an excuse to send troops against Americans, be they patriots or leftists. They don't care. And then they're going to follow that up with a 1-2 punch. It'll be civil strife and possibly civil war combined with a world war, which we see those things playing out right now. With the implementation of artificial intelligence, Grok AI, and whatever Google's up to, and all them other AI companies that are out there now, they're going to go full steam ahead with their plans. They're going to roll out digital ID. Eventually they'll roll out a digital currency. And everything in the system will be designed to control and manipulate what you can say, what you can do, what you can buy, what you can't buy, where you can work, how much you can work, whether or not you can drive, because even though Massey tried his damnedest to amend that last bullcrap spending bill that they did to prevent the government from mandating all manufacturers that at the year 2026 and beyond, your car has to be listening to you, monitoring your driving, and have a kill switch in it to shut off your car. Yeah. So something tells me the used car market's gonna get very wealthy here pretty soon. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's gonna happen. But it's all means of control, which has been their entire goal this entire time. Whether or not the, how do I put this? The Talmudic Kabbalist rabbi in Israel and their Lucifer worshipping leaders that clearly, as stated in Scripture, are those who claim to be Jews but are not, and they belong to their father the devil and are of the synagogue of Satan. Well, I don't know if they're going to bring about some form of Mashiach figure or not. I'm guessing they'll at least attempt it. Whether or not it happens, that's kind of in God's hands. I know they have been working at that for 60, 70 years, roughly. Some successes, some misfires. So, I mean, they've got the genetics and stuff down as far as creating a human fallen hybrid that appears human, so it's a possibility. Though at this point I'm not sure who it would be and who they would actually choose as far as, stabilizing things and presenting himself as the Antichrist, so I'm not 100% sure about that. But I know that everything for the beast system is already in place and ready to be rolled out. So, there's that. My biggest concern is America, to be honest. It's where I live. It's where my people are. I've got friends and stuff in other countries, sure, but I don't live there. And as bad as I hate to say it, at least here I've got at least somewhat of a fighting chance. But the people are going to have to unite. There's no other way around that. There's literally no other way around that at all. People are going to have to unite. They're going to have to stand together. Whether or not Americans can pull that off, or that they can actually set aside the political divisions and everything else and unite as a country, I don't know. I really don't. I have my doubts, I'll just say that. But if we can, then we have a shot. We'll at least have a shot. But yeah, so just as a bullet point type thing so I can wrap this video up, I don't want to keep you guys too long. As I said, like I told you in the last video, I do have projects that I'm working on. I was going to try and have at least one of those wrapped up this weekend, but my PTSD and stuff has been off the charts. And then we got the phone call today for that Epstein victim that needed rescuing. So, a little bit busy, as I'm sure you can imagine. I would like to raise some more donations so I'm at least more comfortable with what we're sitting at and what we're looking at financially to get this woman out and get her to where she needs to go. But I'm trusting the Lord with that, so if the Lord leads you to, like I said, it's givesendgo.com/archangelministries91. I'll put it in the description below. That way you guys can go there, and I'll have the rest of the donation links and stuff set up on the website and connected as soon as possible. I'm just working on the payment processor. So having said that, they're going to bury it. You can expect that. Trump's already done his part. The assistant AG, that's what he's called, has been doing that too. You know, according to him, they don't have any evidence and they're done with the investigation, and it's not illegal to party with Epstein or go to lunch on his island. And he's right. It's what happens after that's illegal. You know, the stuff that he has videos of, the stuff that he has photographs of, with the faces of the perpetrators, along with around, I think it's somewhere around 1,200 signed victim and witness statements that they will not act on. And you can already see it because the New York Post has put out a story, I think it came out today, claiming that the real bad guys in Epstein are Russia and Qatar. No mention of Israel. No mention of the Mossad. No mention of the CIA, even though we know for a fact that him and Ghislaine were working for both. Yeah. So expect more of this to be buried. Expect your free speech, just like mine, to make this video to be absolutely restricted. I said this video will be buried, so I'll be surprised if you see it. If you do, awesome. I'm glad you at least saw it. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much, and I'm sorry if I did. There's a lot going on up here. Trust me. And then, as I stated earlier, Second Amendment stuff. You're already seeing it roll out in D.C. And then they'll seek to cause further instability and division while they use war or rumors of war and potential war over in the Middle East, specifically Iran, as a distraction. And then expect something to happen where Russia steps up to the plate, or possibly China. I would imagine that within the next, unless I miss my guess, I'd say maybe 2 months. I said, that's not from the Lord, that's just me crunching numbers. My guess is about 2 months. Could be sooner, could be a little later, but I'm betting around the 2 month mark. Just because of the way these guys operate. Expect attacks on the economy. We're already seeing some of that. What's going on with the metals market, you know, gold and silver, is a straight attack on the economy. I was actually talking to my buddy Randy Conway about that today. All the fluctuation going on in the gold and silver markets is basically they're trying to scare people, like me and you, away from purchasing gold and silver and going into the dollar value system, stocks, bonds, things of that nature, freeing up space for the banks, the CEOs, the governments, you know, the Luciferians, to buy up all the physical gold and silver that they can. That's what they are attempting to do. They want to oppress you while they elevate themselves. This is standard operational procedure for the Luciferians. So, since we see these attacks rolling out, expect more civil disruptions. Expect them to double or triple down on the ICE protest and what's going on with ICE, especially up in Minnesota and LA and places like that. you're going to see a lot of that pushed nonstop, consistently, as far as media goes, in order to distract people and try and get them back on the left versus right paradigm, and try and rob us of the ability to unify under the same banner and challenge them as a group instead of warring with each other. That's going to be their main play. Their main play on this one. That's going to be their main ploy. Divide and conquer. They don't want us to unify. So bear that in mind. All right. My advice: all you Christians out there that are all hung up on this anti-Semitism, anti-Zionism nonsense, just knock it off. Knock it off. Pull it out the root. Knock it off. Okay? Just quit. Quit. You're being stupid. I'm just going to tell you like it is. You're being stupid. You're acting retarded. Alright? Just quit. Quit. Just knock it off. Knock it off. And don't come at me with none of the Zionist bullcrap, because I'll just make a video or reply to you and put you in your place. So just shh. Alright? Shh. You hear me? Alright, good. There are far more important things to be focused on right now than theological nonsense. Alright? Far more important things. So, just shh on that stuff. Shh on the Erica Kirk stuff. Just shh. This is what you're doing. This is what I want you to do. Okay? Shh. Same thing goes with politics. The left-right divide. A lot of people are seeing it very clearly for what it is now for the first time. Alright? So, all you people ranting about left and right, ISIS, shh. Alright? Just shh. Same good. Yeah. Quiet. The big boys are talking. Okay, so if you want any chance of justice for these victims, alright? Stop with the division. Theological nonsense, political nonsense. Stop with that. But you have to realize that game isn't the one being played anymore. They want you to play that game so they can manipulate and control you. Don't play their game. Okay? Do not play their game. Do not let them distract you. Keep pushing forward. Keep pressing on the Epstein issue. We have to keep up the pressure. We have to discard the other stuff, because now it's not left and right. It's not Republican, Democrat, okay? This is righteous and good versus evil, all right? That's the dividing line now. If you can't accept that, excuse yourself from the conversation, okay? We have work to do. We have an important job to do. There are millions of victims of these people still out there that are hoping and praying and waiting for people to stand up, put their lives on the line, and rescue them. That is what's important. The more we rescue, the more testimonies we have, the more evidence we have to share with not only the public, but people that will listen, so that we can take these elite, Lucifer-worshipping douchebags down. That is what's important. Alright? So, this is going to get thick. It's going to get worse before it gets better. Alright? So, let the old divisions go. Alright? We need to unify. Okay? That's what's important. Alright, so, as I said, so just quick recap. They'll bury the story. They've already started. They'll divert blame from who blame should actually sit on. They've already started. They'll attack your First Amendment rights and your rights to free speech. It's already started. They'll attack the Second Amendment rights, already started in D.C. They'll seek to cause more division. They'll double down on news stories and stuff that push that division even further. They will do everything they can to pick a fight with Iran, Russia, and China to implement a third world war. It's already in the process. That's what the strategy is. In the midst of that chaos, I do believe those are the ones that are probably going to be activated. But that's a conversation for another time. But it's also important to know that if we unite and do what we're supposed to, we get out there and we rescue those victims. They get delivered. They get healed. That's one less chosen one that can wreak havoc in the world when they're activated. So please, bear all that in mind. And as I said, the website is up. So the videos and stuff are back on there. I got a little bit more work to do on it for the donations. But again, if the Lord is leading you to donate, givesendgo.com/ArchangelMinistries91. Alright guys, thanks for your time. I'm gone. It's Archangel, signing out.